Alright, welcome to Act 4 of what is now being called the Azimuth Saga, which includes all of the stuff about the Adamastor and Hesperus, Black Flight, Aegis, the Thargoids, Salvation, and I'll be posting a link of the whole timeline from the moment that the Adamastor appeared in the Chuk-Chan system last year at Halloween, which has been posted by FDev in their official forums and is being kept updated by community manager Bruce Corrido, and it's a pretty good explanation of the timeline for anybody who might be new to this story and wants to get up to speed. So this latest chapter, act, whatever you wish to call it, it started a few days ago with a Galnet news article where Salvation appears and gives one of his very rare public broadcasts. Usually he only contacts independent pilots. This time he sent it out to all the major news feeds saying that the Cornsar system is going to come under attack from the Thargoids, and he says that he's developing a new Thargoid detection network which will be far superior to Eagle Eye, and even though it's not fully complete, it's given him this reading already which he cannot dismiss as a false reading. He urged Cornsar to take action and start evacuating people, and they refused, dismissing it as nothing more than a game of one-upmanship between Aegis and Salvation. And nor do we believe for one moment that the Thargoids would go out of their way to harass us. Yes, the chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, but still they come. So to absolutely nobody's surprise, 2 days later on Thursday, they attacked. And 2 stations in the Cornsar system have been attacked. This is one of them, Chadwick Port. The other one here, Ito Market, both with their own rescue ships. So if you're going to do rescues here, make sure you take them to the right rescue ship, depending on which station you visit. As far as the rescues go, they operate in the way that they always have. Here in the burning station, you will find...
Allow for sudden course adjustments, Commander. Wreckage spotted in the inner dock. You're cleared for approach. Watch out for any stray debris when you get inside the station, Commander.
Integrity compromised.
Here you'll find the usual passenger missions.
Taking damage. Landing gear deployed.
And despite the fact that I just bumped into a piece of debris, the debris here isn't actually too bad. There's not that many explosions. These are relatively straightforward to rescue from. There's not many protrusions in the walls.
We're taking your ship directly into the hangar, Commander. Note, this is a standard emergency procedure.
And here are your normal passenger missions. So we can fill up with these in the usual way. And having filled up with passengers, we can take them to the rescue ship as usual. All of this is exactly the way rescues normally work. You've also got your usual items here that you can pick up if you like. Wreckage components, personal effects, occupied escape pods, damaged escape pods, etc, etc, and a few materials that you can pick up for engineering, if you should so wish. So these stations are not too difficult to rescue from, and by alternating between them it's possible to get quite a high passenger count in a short space of time.
Frameshift drive charging.
distance between the station and the rescue ship is only about 500 kilometers, so almost as soon as you go into Super Cruise, you can then come back out of it at the rescue ship and dock and hand them in.
Docking request granted.
There are two Federation factions here for those looking to grind a bit of Fed rank, and with Odyssey you can now just select the factions that you want to do work for, making that process even easier for those who just want to filter the Federation jobs. I don't usually bother, I pick up everybody, and I don't bother getting specifically going for the reputation ward. I just take the money because rescuing in bulk, sooner or later, within half a dozen trips, I'm going to be allied with everybody anyway. And the rep will just take care of itself. So rescuing in bulk like this, I did 8,000 passengers yesterday. As far as all that is concerned, the rescues work just like the rescues always work. There's nothing unusual about the mechanics, nothing different about the way it works. If you look at the missions here, you will see that you've got the usual missions to take black boxes and escape pods and the other paraphernalia that floats in the station, and bring it in for credits, more reputation, so you can alternate between passengers and pods, or pick up a bit of both, or do whatever takes your fancy there. And none of that is unusual. That's the way rescues always work. What is unusual, however, is that if we take a look at the galaxy map, normally when a system comes under attack, it'll be in a state of incursion. It's not. It's in a state none. So it's not in incursion state. And the other thing is that there are no anti-Xeno conflict zones. When the Thargoids attack a station, the system goes into incursion. AX conflict zones appear. The stations are on fire. Station or stations. Rescue ships are deployed. But this time there's no incursion and there's no AX conflict zones. And the AX guys contacted FDev saying, is this just a bug? Have you forgotten to put them in or something? And no, there's a law reason for it. And they were a bit cagey because they didn't want to give away spoilers, which is fair enough. But Zach, community manager, said there is a law reason why there's no AX conflict zones there yet, and more stuff will be added to this over the next little while, and we don't want to say too much because spoilers. And so yesterday I spent pretty much most of it just doing rescues, alternating between the two stations, got a lot of passengers rescued, and noticed that there were only a few non-human signal sources. I mean, no AX conflict zones at all, and only a few non-human signal sources, only a handful of them, about half a dozen. Again, Zach said on this, maybe the whole force hasn't arrived yet. Now, so this is unusual for two reasons. First of all, the system has not come under a state of incursion. Secondly, there are no AX conflict zones, and even the non-human signal sources yesterday, there were only about 5 or 6 of them at any given time. So we weren't exactly talking massive Thargoid presence here. And then today, there are a lot more non-human signal sources now. There are a couple of hundred here now, but there are still no AX conflict zones. The system is still not in incursion, and what we appear to be looking at is a new situation where we may even be able to stop an incursion before it becomes a full-blown one. So on the first day of the attacks, Thursday, there were rescues to do. The next day, Friday, the 17th, those who had participated in previous Salvation events got a message from him, and the account that I've got in the bubble didn't get this message, so I've had to switch accounts to the one that's out in the black. But here is that message. Commander, this is Salvation. You have performed well in my service before, and now I require your help again. This is an urgent matter, with millions of lives at risk. I ask you to travel to the Pegasi Sector ON-S B4-8 system immediately. There you will find the megaship Heart of Taurus, operated by my partners at the Taurus Mining Ventures. From there you must collect basic medicines and deliver them to either of the rescue ships in the Cornsar system. They need to arrive before Monday the 20th of September if they are to be of use. I am trusting you with the knowledge that these shipments have been disguised as medicines but actually contain vital components for a prototype anti-Xeno weapon. With enough deliveries, I may be able to eliminate the Thargoid fleet currently causing havoc in Cornsar. Naturally, I offer generous compensation for this task. On Thursday the 23rd of September, you will be granted a permit to enter the Mbooni system, where another megaship, the Bright Sentinel, will have a module waiting for you in storage. This is a modified Class 2 Guardian Gauss Cannon with increased capacity and burst fire, but reduced optimal range. As you know, we cannot rely on Aegis to save us from the Thargoids. Only I am capable of achieving this, and courageous pilots like you can ensure my triumph. Well, Salvation may be a bit egotistical and full of himself, and even have some kind of messiah complex going on. Only I can save you. But you can't deny that he's got results. We took a load of Guardian objects to the Aegis megaship. They jumped into hyperspace and the ship vanished, presumed hyperdicted by the Thargoids. Then we were asked to do it all again, but this time we got a chance to take them to either Aegis or Salvation, and I think the general feeling of the players was, well, Aegis have already lost one ship, let's see what Salvation can do with him. And in a very short space of time, he has managed to put together a Thargoid detection system which seems to be light years ahead of the Eagle Eye system created by Aegis, which stopped working properly a year ago, and seems to operate on entirely different principles. The Aegis Eagle Eye system would monitor build-ups of Thargoids in certain systems, and then when it reported that there was a major build-up of Thargoids in a system, that system would, more often than not, be attacked the following week. But the last few Thargoid attacks have happened without warning, and Eagle Eye is clearly no longer up to the job. Plus, Eagle Eye only had 6 beacons, and on New Year's Eve, 9 stations were attacked. So even had it been working properly, the likelihood of it predicting all of them really wasn't there. Either way, the message over the last couple of years has been that you can forget about the Eagle Eye system as a effective way of predicting Thargoid attacks. It's not been maintained, it's not been funded, it's not changed. Clearly the Thargoids have become better at hiding their presence before an attack, and new methods are needed to try and deduce where and when they might hit next. How Salvation has achieved this, I have absolutely no idea, but I would be fascinated to learn how he's managed to make this new detection system, presumably out of the Guardian bits that we brought him. And now he's saying that he is able to provide not only independent pilots with a new Gauss Cannon, which you might remember he also offered another engineered Gauss Cannon during the CG as a reward for bringing the Guardian stuff to him instead of Aegis. And so now he's offering another double engineered Gauss Cannon for fighting Thargoids with, and says that he has some kind of weapon in mind which could take care of the Thargoid fleet, which has now stepped up in the last 24 hours from half a dozen non-human signal sources to a good couple of hundred every time you go in system. What does this all mean? We've never had a situation where we've been able to stop an incursion, really. There was an old theory that going into a system where the Eagle Eye said would come under attack, and going in there and killing as many scouts as you could would help to stop an incursion, but I don't know if that was something that worked once and then stopped working after some update or another, or maybe it was an idea that was tried for a while and then discarded. I have absolutely no idea whether that worked or not, but either way, the last few Thargoid attacks, there has been no way of stopping them. They've hit us without warning, and they've hit us hard. And the attacks have usually been a lot more targeted than they were in the past. We're told that the Thargoids never attack indiscriminately, but if there was a pattern to their previous year and a half or so of attacks before their 5-month retreat and then return in January last year, then we weren't really able to identify any patterns in those attacks, and so to all intents and purposes to us they did look indiscriminate, even though they were assured that we were assured that Thargoids don't attack indiscriminately. And why Cornsar? What's so special about Cornsar? What's in Cornsar? It's a bit off the beaten track for the Thargoids. They've rarely attacked any stations out this way, and in a way you can understand the people of Cornsar's reaction when they're saying, what, really, here? We haven't even noticed the Thargoid, let alone why would they attack us? What have we done? I'm back at my carrier and I'm swapping ships from the rescue corvette to the cutter. To pick up some of these basic medicines, which are not basic medicines, but AX technology in disguise, which Salvation wants to put together and make a weapon out of to clear out the Thargoids that are now here in quite significant numbers.
Restrict speed until a carrier is far behind you.
And where you pick these goods up from is not far away. It's the Heart of Taurus Megaship, 22 light years away. So I have no doubt that this will get done by Monday. I've no doubt that they'll be delivered in their thousands and possibly in their millions. As soon as it was announced that you could complement any rescue activities with delivering these goods, there were people posting saying that they'd filled up their carriers already and bought out all the stock, and they were waiting for the stock to refresh. So they're going for it because we all want to see this. Of course we all want to see this. He's talking about creating some kind of weapon that could wipe out all the Thargoids that are in the system at the moment. A whole fleet of them, all those non-human signal sources. Of course we want to see it. So although it does seem like we're all plummeting headlong to support Salvation when we don't really know anything about him at all, we've only got what he said about himself to go on. We've got no independent verification of anything that he's told us whatsoever. But I think the general feeling in the player base is he's moving the story on, nothing else is. Let's back him for the moment and see where it goes. If he turns out to be some nutter who wants to destroy the galaxy and has been spinning us a line all along, then I guess we'll find out soon enough. But since the story gives us no option and leads us by the nose anyway, what can we do except go with the flow and see what happens? And when we're given the option to try and change something significant like this, we take it. Not because it's any kind of binary thing, not because we're supporting Salvation over Aegis, but simply because, you know, Aegis is being wound down as a story that's going nowhere. They're locked down, they're audited, their resources can't be deployed because they're being investigated. You know, and poor Aegis are out of the picture. No quota has been specified. Nobody said deliver 1 million, 2 million. No number has been given for how many Salvation wants, but because we all want to see what happens next if we deliver these things. There's not going to be a shortage of them. People are filling carriers with them. I'm carrying 700 tons at a time, and I've done about 3 or 4 deliveries already. And so, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big problem delivering enough for FDev to say, yep, okay, that's plenty. So we'll do whatever we were going to do,
Docking successful.
hopefully on Monday.
Engines disengaged.
So that's 736 tons, which has cost me 383,500
Cargo hold at maximum
credits.
capacity.
Just plot a course back. Either of the rescue ships will do. You might want to think about doing these in solo, since there's only one large landing pad if you're in a large ship.
Landing gear deployed.
There's no special place to hand these in, just sell them through the commodity market, and that's 3 million in profit for a trip that only really took a couple of minutes. And as you can see, there's a high demand, a very high demand. 15 million they've set it at, although they've not set any specific target. They do have this figure in the commodity market. I don't imagine it's going to be a big problem delivering 15, 20 million. I don't know how many will be delivered in the end, because there is no way to track them. There's nothing like a community goal in your transactions panel saying, yeah, you know, you've delivered a couple of thousand basic medicines. There's nothing to indicate it at all. So all you can do is just sell them at the commodities market at either of the 2 rescue ships in the Cornsar system, and hope that enough people do the same thing, and we find out what this new device is that Salvation wants to use, hopefully on Monday.